a very, very good good morning, should I say, here in South Africa to all our viewers. I hope you guys have had an awesome weekend so far. And my name is Sean Taylor, and I'm very happy to be joining you for 2 hours at Live at the Waterhole with Wild Earth. And I hope your weekend is going really, really well. My weekend's been good and very chilled, although the weather hasn't been going too well, I've got to say. But guys, remember, I love talking to you guys. I love answering your questions. So please feel free to join us on our various social media channels or send us a WhatsApp. And hey, let's talk. Let's chat. Let's find out what's going on. And looking forward to spending some time with you guys. It's going to be awesome. And of course, we start at Aldonio. We've got our stunning male Ellies, and we've got a really cool Oryx that is drinking at the waterhole as well, or Gemsbok as we call it here in South Africa. It looks like a stunning day there. So guys, a little bit of a different theme today. I want to know, it's Sunday, it's the weekend, we're all chilling, we're all relaxing. Some of us are starting to go, oh no, it's Monday tomorrow. So I'm thinking, let's get to know each other a little bit better. I see so many of you guys coming through, you know, similar names, and I know there's a lot of you guys out there that are watching that very rarely interact with us, but I want you to interact. I want to hear from you. So the theme for the day is get to know you. So send us a message and tell me, where are you? Whereabouts are you in the world? Do you get to visit the African bush much? Have you been to South Africa? Have you been to Africa before? If you have, tell me where. Give us a bit of a story. And I want to know personally, why do you join us? Why are you watching the show? What do you love about it? So join us with the chat, guys. It'll be awesome to get to know each other and find out what's happening. And I'd love to get to know you guys even better. But listen, back to the action. This is why we're here, right? Some beautiful oryx are now coming down to the waterhole. Normally we just see one and then it kind of like scampers off, but this is quite a nice sighting. The Ellies seem to be behaving themselves. So guys, these oryx are essentially designed for very, very, very dry conditions. And when I say dry, I mean very harsh conditions. I mean, I've seen oryx out. I was very fortunate to guide guests in Serikafima, which is right up northern Namibia on the Angolan border. And it just is desert as far as the eye can see. We've got an eland, a big male eland coming in here as well. And honestly, it just looks inhospitable. And besides some beautiful Himba settlements, which is a local tribe in the area, you don't see much except for oryx. It's amazing how these guys can survive in those areas. And you know, there's no water, you know, besides the Kanani River. You know, you walk away from the river and there's just nothing there. But these guys are amazing. They will feed on, they're very selective feeders, so they'll go for plants that have got very high water content, but they'll also eat melons, and they are extremely adaptable creatures. And they can also grumpiness. They can also handle extreme temperatures as well. Check, I love how the zebra just come back. The gangsters of the bush. And the zebras as well, actually. Those black and white stripes. It's amazing how in the middle of summer, you know, I'll take guests out on game drive, and 8 o'clock in the morning, the other animals are now trying to find some shade under the trees. and the zebra will stay out in the sun until midday. And it's because those black and white stripes almost absorb and reflect the same amount of heat, so their body temperature doesn't rise much, so they don't overheat like the other animals do. But they are very, very water dependent, so these guys will drink at least 2 or 3 times a day, but that's mostly because of their the way that they digest their food. Hello to everybody. I've got messages coming through. I've got Harriet, my apologies. Why I saw Henrietta, I don't know. But we've got Harriet. Harriet, thank you so much. You're in a breezy Cape Town. Thank you for joining us. Penelope, you're from Sheffield Beach, which is my hood. Very warm welcome to you, Penelope. And then Kamana, you are saying that you're from Limpopo, and the Kruger National Park obviously is right next door to you guys, but you barely visit. Kamana, that you need to remedy this. This is an extremely unacceptable behavior. You need to visit Kruger way more. It's a national heritage. You'll never regret it. Ever, ever, ever. And then Ansi, you're from Hartenbos. And you've reminded me to tell you, thank you so much, Ansi, about experience with a guest on a game drive. So Ansi, I will get to that. Let me just try and do my job a little bit and chat about what's happening at the waterhole. I just missed the eland scampering off. See the guys running off in the background. Hopefully they'll come back soon. But thanks for reminding me, Ansi. I appreciate it. I love to watch the different interactions with the different animals, and I just love to be tuned in to the conversation. You know, it seems like that big tusker on the right hand side, it's almost like he's having a conversation with the zebra, and it's just not going well. The zebra don't seem to be excited about what's being said. Just wish we could be tuned in more. I mean, can you imagine the conversations? It must be hilarious.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
My full name is Cedric Leslie Dold. The best driver at Wild Earth, it is me. I believe I'm the best driver. I think so because I've... best part of my job, I say, is just to try and look out for these animals, track them down. I love tracking animals. I love looking for, fresh tracks, and if you can find them, it's just at the moment of accomplishment. If I wasn't a presenter for Wild Earth, I would be the drummer for AC/DC.
Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
But is it Jennifer, Jinxifer? I'm not too sure, but thank you so much for your comments, and it's so nice that you're joining us all the way from the UK. So thanks so much about it. You're saying the reason why you watch Wild Earth every day is it's relaxing, and you just see the animals just being themselves. And you'd love to do a safari, but you couldn't afford it, and you're disabled as well. So it'd be very difficult. We're your escape. So thank you so much for that, and we're honored that you get to join us and get to live your safari life through us. But never give up on going on a safari, even if you're disabled. There are many, many opportunities to get out to Africa with a disability, and there are safaris specifically designed for people with disabilities to come out and actually enjoy the wilderness. So do not give up. Do some research and you'll be surprised what you can find. You know, sometimes I'll sit and I'll watch these elephants at Aldonio, and I wonder to myself, how is there still water in there? I mean, these guys just like, they've been drinking pretty much since, what's it now? We've been 12 minutes into the show now. Especially the one on the left. He's just going nuts. Someone told him to stay hydrated. It's important for your skin to dry out, and he's taking it quite seriously. Yeah, I'm surprised everybody gets a drink with these guys. Absolutely nuts. Verli or Verla, I think it's Verli. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize. You're saying that you absolutely love Wild Earth. Not sure if you're going to be able to visit, but this is how you get your taste for wildlife. It's food for your soul. And you are a Belgian, but you're living in Cornwall. Ooh, nice. The tropical paradise of Cornwall in the UK. I think it's the only place in the UK that has palm trees, if I'm not mistaken. So thanks so much for joining us. And listen, this is why we're here. This is why we do what we do. You see there's some water looks like there's water actually coming through there. I don't know whether it's a spring or whether it's being pumped, but obviously that's why Big Boy is chilling over there. He's getting the fresh water. It's the first time I've seen that. Look how he sucks this up, guys. Look at this. Wow, look at that. And this is a perfect shot of those prehensile tips on their trunk. And they just, I mean, they're amazing little things. You know, they're strong enough to pick up a rock and throw it, but they're gentle enough to peel the bark off trees to get to the inner bark where all the nutrients and everything are. So this looks like it's actually being pumped, and so it would make complete sense why these guys are always on that side and they don't let the other animals come in. Just look at that, guys. It's like an alien's foot. Aren't they clever creatures? Honestly, like. Check his cute little toenails. I don't know whether he'd appreciate me calling him cute. I'm not sure, but I mean, look at them. So guys, these trunks of these elephants are just the most amazing appendages. Basically, it is an extension of the upper lip and the nose that forms this trunk. You know, they can store up close to 10 liters of water in their trunk. They also it's amazing how the desert elephants, that's a story for another day, with how the desert elephants work around it. But I mean, that trunk will have anything between 50 and 100,000 muscles, just the trunk, let alone the rest of that massive 6-ton animal that's standing in front there. It just isn't it? It's like a magic wand. And to be honest with you, it reminds me of whenever I do a trail run and I have my bladder on the back where I store my water, and I'm running out of water and I'm just sucking, trying to get the last little bit of water out before I dehydrate and fall over. It's pretty much what I look like. Guys, I'm loving the comments coming in. You guys are just awesome. Ellie Ann, thank you so much for your comment. You're in Port Elizabeth. You say it's a beautiful day in PE. That's awesome. And you say you're a regular visitor to Timbavati and Kruger, and Wild Earth is your favorite channel. Well, I mean, you've got good taste, Ellie Ann. That's obviously this is what I'm picking up. You have good taste in TV channels. And I love the Timbavati. It's one of my favorite places to go to. Had some of my best elephant sightings and interactions in Timbavati, actually. And then Susie, thank you so much. You are in Pringle Bay. And you pretty much watching because you find it so educational and exciting. And you used to visit Kruger Park during the hot December holidays. Now listen, Susie, we're trying to put together a camping trip for over New Year for this year with my family and I. And the one thing we keep going to is how hot it's going to be. I'm even looking at those like tiny little air conditioners. I mean, how embarrassing, but it does, guys. No jokes. I'm not a baby. I'm telling you, it gets to like 45 degrees Celsius. And it just is unbearable at night. I mean, the temperature never really drops lower than about 28, 29 degrees. So you need some cool air in the winter, in the tent. So I get exactly what you're saying, Susie. It is hectic, but I bet you that you miss it, right? Even as hot as it was. And also, Susie, you've got a question as well. You asking, the elephants at the waterhole are massive. Yes, they're absolutely huge. And you want to know how to recognize a male and a female elephant. So the male elephants are, first of all, a lot bigger. In particular, their heads. So 60% of an elephant's weight is on their arms because of that massive cranium and their tusks, and their heart, which can weigh up to 30 kilograms. 30 kilograms of a heart. Can you believe it? It's next level. So that's the first thing you look at is if there was a female standing next to one of these guys, you would see a size difference. But that's not the main difference. The main difference between the males and females is if you're having a look at the male on the right hand side, of course he's just turned his head now because he can hear what I'm saying and he's just being a pain. But the males have got a rounded forehead. So there's no real angle to it. It's kind of like a rounded shape, and it kind of goes over the cranium, round, and then down. Whereas the females almost have like a flat top, and then it drops down at an angle, and there's an acute angle essentially as the forehead drops down into the face. And that's actually the best way to see whether it's male or female, is just looking at that forehead, and obviously the size of the head as well. Thank you for that, Susie. And then Chrissy, thank you so much. You're saying you just love the program and the filming and the wildlife. And you're glad that you found us. Well, Chrissy, we're very glad that you found us too. And we love what we do. But guys, please, every day you got to shout out to the techs that put not just the live at the waterhole together, but the game drives as well. If I tell you how difficult it is to keep a show like this running in the middle of the bush, it's next level. So, you know, these techs are the real magicians, and besides the animals, which are the stars of the show, we just get to sit and talk about the animals. But at the end of the day, the tech guys are the real heroes of the program. So hold them in your thoughts and send them lots of love, guys, because they really are special. And Chrissy, you're from England. Sorry to hear about summer ending. Yeah, I lived in the UK for just over a year, so I can commiserate. But you guys know how to celebrate Christmas, so you've got one up on us with that. So we've got some oryx coming down again. Stunning animals. Guys, we are going to leave our oryx friends, our very thirsty elephants, and our dusty zebra, and we're going to go over to Tau and see what's going on in the hood there. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Like being by the water, they get their namesake from the fact that often if they are chased by any predators, they actually will run into the water. So it's one of the first things they'll do, is they run in, and they can almost submerge themselves up to the kind of the just keep their snout out of the water, and they'll stay there. They're fairly good swimmers. If there's a crocodile there, then that's just bad luck, sadly. But they've got very, very oily skin. And so quite often they'll be submerged for a while, and then they'll come out of the water and give themselves a shake, and they dry off almost immediately. That water just runs right off their skin. So they're adapted for situations like that. And I love that white ring around their bum. Looks like they sat on like a freshly painted toilet seat, and they got up, and they stuck with that big white ring on their butts. But that actually is something in the guiding community that we call a follow me sign. So most of these animals, even if they do see in color, they don't see in the range of color that we do. We've got superior binocular vision, and we see different shades. Often your prey animals, they will see color, but like a spectrum of color. So they'll see green, but it'll be just green. So they won't see the different kind of shades of green. But white and black are two colors that stand out more than any of the other colors through the spectrum that they see. And so you'll find that a lot of the animals have got like a white ring around their butts, or they've got a black tip on the tail or a white tip on the tail. And that's a follow me sign. And it's really just, if they're in very thick bush, for them to follow each other, but mostly for the youngsters to follow the mom. If they get into trouble and they need to scatter, it's something to focus on and run towards. And that's why we call it a follow me sign. The warthog have got the cute little tails that shoot up like a little aerial and run off through the bush. You hear the Egyptian geese in the background, busy calling. We've got some knob-billed ducks in the foreground on the bank. There's a beautiful male knob-billed duck kind of just off right center of the screen closest to us. He's got his head tucked under. If he lifts his head up at all, you'll see this beautiful little knob at the top of his beak. That's hence the term knob-billed duck. Got some blacksmith lapwings. It's very active here today. And so we've got a message here from Ellie Leopard Friend. That's quite a cool name, Ellie Leopard Friend. I like that. You're asking, how old do you think that those tuskers would be at Aldonio, I'm guessing? So judging by their size and the wear on their tusks, considering where they live, I would put those males at probably around the 45 to 50-year-old mark. Now, Ellies will live to about 65 years in the wild. It's not necessarily that they die from old age, but they just wear their teeth down and eventually start to starve to death because they just cannot ingest enough food. So yeah, they're around about 45, 50 years old. Katie, you're saying hello, and you're from Michigan. Very nice. Very, very nice, Katie. So, Katie, I'm going to get your comment now. We're going to head over to and see what else is going on at one of our other cameras. But you're from Michigan, Katie, and you'd love to visit South Africa someday. It would be a dream come true. Okay, Katie, I have to interrupt your comments. So we have an African hawk eagle that is having a bath here at Jackie at the waterhole here at Jackie Sabi house. This is awesome. And I'm going to go quiet for a little bit because I want you guys to hear the helmeted guinea fowl, so the bird behind the eagle that is bathing at the moment. They are alarm calling because the hawk eagle is actually one of their predators. So yeah, I'm going to go quiet a little bit and just listen to the sounds, listen to the alarm calls, listen to how many of the birds are tittle-tailing. It's like a preschool. So guys, it's just flown back, so we'll have a little chat about it now. But can you hear the bedlam that is ensuing around this hawk eagle? So that wah in the distance is a hardy or ibis. Yeah, absolutely crazy. How much, and then the chattering in the background is the guinea fowl, the helmeted guinea fowl. It's so rare to see one of these hawk eagles actually submerge themselves like that. And he's doing some funny thing. I'm wondering whether he or she hasn't eaten something and's got something. Oh, great! That's quite a shot. Hasn't eaten something and has got something in it. You can see how it's opening its mouth like that. I'm wondering whether there wasn't something that it fed on, and it's just trying to get it through its crop. That was such a cool sighting, guys. That was awesome. Guys, so we're going to go to Tembe from here, and we'll come back and see what's happening with the hawk eagle at some stage, I'm sure. What would Tembe be without the elephants? Beautiful. So I don't live, as the crow flies, I don't live too far away from Tembe Elephant Park. And you can just see the difference in the vegetation compared to where we've been watching the last couple of cameras. So we've been getting rain almost pretty much through winter. So every time we get a front that comes through, we've been getting a little bit of rain. So we're still green and have quite a lot of water around in the area, which is amazing for the ellies and the other animals, because it just means that there's plenty of food around. It doesn't do the predators any good, because they kind of rely on animals being slightly weak in the drier seasons to it's easy prey, easy pickings basically. So when the animals are in really good condition throughout the year, it can be difficult. And it's actually one of the reasons, interestingly, why you often get very large prides of lion. I was very, very fortunate to be guiding in a reserve which is part of Greater Kruger called Cliseri, where I still guide guests now, but this is probably before COVID. Don't you love how we timeline everything? Like pre-COVID and post-COVID. But pre-COVID, there was a pride, we called it the Dundee Pride. And it was a mega pride. There were about 30 of these lions. And they came into being, the pride got that big because we went through a really, really bad drought. And they just literally they just had their pick pretty much of whatever they wanted to eat. Everything was on the menu at that stage. And so they could get that big, and the young males didn't have to leave. By the time they got to 2-3 years old, they could hang around a little bit longer, and life was great until the rains started up again, and the pride split up. The reason the pride split up is exactly like I was telling you guys. When there's good vegetation and the animals are strong and the genes are strong out in the bush. It's harder to kill. It's harder to chase these animals down. And, if you've got a mega pride of 30 lions, that's a lot of mouths to feed. And so quite often what happens with those mega prides is if the food becomes a little bit more difficult to manage, those prides split. And you often find lions of similar ages kind of moving off and going into different areas, males going off to try and form their own kind of territories, and then the core of the pride, which will be the older females and their young cubs, will stay around, and the amount of mouths to feed will kind of drop. So you can find probably in northern KZN now, it'd be quite difficult to find a mega pride unless it's a small reserve where it's easy pickings for them. In large areas in northern KZN, the lion prides are a little bit smaller because of that reason. All right, guys, you guys are the best. You see all the comments. You see all the comments that we're having to deal with today. This is amazing. I'm trying to stay on track with the animals, but you guys are just, I love it. I just absolutely love it. Thank you, guys. It's just so nice to know so many of you are watching. So I have a new member. Is it Malacca Strand? I hope I say Malacca. I hate mispronouncing names. So if I mispronounce it, please, humble apologies. But Malacca Strand, you are on the Pacific coast in the US. Thank you so much for joining us. And you're saying you watch Wild Earth because it just brings beauty and joy to you every day, and that you'd love to go on safari. Well, listen, Malacca, we're here. We're not going anywhere. As you can see, time stands still in Africa. There's actually a saying we have here, which is Africa time. So, in South Africa, if you're 10 minutes late, you're actually 10 minutes early. Just remember that. And then Ella, you are in KZN, a fellow KZNer. And you're saying how clever those elephants at Adonia were to find that fresh water. So Ella, they are next level when it comes to finding fresh water. And quite often, you'll find the elephants will move around. If we're lucky enough at some stage during the broadcast this morning and afternoon, if we find an elephant herd that is walking down to the water, it's amazing to watch how they won't just walk straight in and drink. They move around the waterhole looking for the freshest part of the water. The coolest and freshest part. They're quite picky. Well, we've got those are the elephants making that noise, and I believe it's probably because there's another herd coming through. That's normally why they do this. So there's either a big male on his way down, or there's another herd of elephants coming in. You see that tail. That female, head up, ears out, tail straight out like that. That is a telltale sign for us guides to get going. Put the car on, put it in first, and go. That is a very unhappy elephant. Hopefully we see what's upset them. I have no doubt it's another elephant herd or elephant interaction that's upsetting them. Sure, we'll figure it out soon.
utatsemba utatsama na mina.
Dihamba ehlathini elikhulu, diphula phula amazwi omoya, indlovu zilula ngengoma livakala phezulu.
There's some ellies that we're approaching now.
The light on her is absolutely gorgeous.
So we are going to enjoy the rest of this sunset.
Wow, this is absolutely crazy.
And thank you for joining us. For myself and Cam, we will see you next time.
Out here, every wild moment counts, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing.
Incredible.
Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. The best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
Gauge whether it was the ones that ran off. They definitely seem, it's very weird for this waterhole. So, sorry, I just got word that apparently there were lions close to the waterhole last night. So it could very well be, because it's fairly quiet around the waterhole today, I wonder whether those lions are not held up somewhere in the bush, kind of out the sun. Because often what lions will do is, if they've just finished a kill of some kind, maybe we get lucky if we start seeing some vultures maybe coming through and drinking. That might help us kind of, we'll do like an animal CSI. I'll put my sunglasses on and I'll be the Horatio Kane of the wildlife world. That's what we'll do. We'll try to figure out what's going on during the broadcast. But if we see some vultures starting to fly in and drinking, maybe what could have happened is there was a kill. And what lions will do is, when they're finished feeding, because they ingest quite a lot of blood while they're feeding, there's a lot of sodium obviously within the blood content, and so they need to drink copious amounts of water after killing something. So often what will happen is the lions will come to the waterhole. They will just plonk their face in the water and drink what seems like 30 liters of water, and then they get up and they walk off, and they'll go and lie up somewhere in the bush, but very close to the water. So jeepers, I tell you, imagine if we get a lion coming through to the waterhole, guys. What an amazing Sunday this would be. But it seems like the elephants are calming down a little bit. You might find maybe one of the lions stood up, or I'm surmising now, obviously. I need to stop it. I'm working myself up. And Mr. Elemental, it's very nice to hear from you again. You're saying that you love learning about anything, but since I discovered Wild Earth, I developed a love for Southern Africa's natural history, and I still can't believe I can watch it live every day. You know what, Mr. Elemental? First of all, we appreciate you, and thank you so much for spending so much of your time with us every day. We really, really appreciate it. And secondly, again, you're learning something new all the time. These animals are constantly doing something weird. Like the dynamics that are happening here at this waterhole right now. Something's happening, something's going on. Every day is different. It might be the same waterhole, the same road, but guarantee you every 24-hour period, something new is happening in that area. It's amazing, isn't it? Ellie Leopard friend, another comment from you. Thank you so much. You're asking, what is the best time of year to come to Africa? So essentially, our the best time for a safari is during our dry season. So that will go from May and it'll extend through to about the end of September. That's the sweet spot, those months. The reason for that is we don't have a lot of rain, but it's a lot cooler. And the bush starts to dry out. So what happens in the summertime is when we get a lot of rain, there's a lot of puddles and a lot of natural pans that fill up in the bush. And so the animals split up. You know, you don't get these massive herds. Obviously, besides the zebra migration that goes through Botswana, I exclude them. But the big herds that you see coming down to the waterholes in the wintertime, those herds split back off into their natal herds, which, you know, for zebra can be 12 of them. Impala can be just kind of anything from 15 to 30 of them. And they go off and they don't come down to what would be termed as the red zones, which is the water and the rivers and the major waterholes where the predators will be. They get to stay out into the bush and protect themselves. And because everything splits up, obviously then the predators split up as well. So sightings can be rather erratic. Obviously this is area dependent, but generally speaking, sightings can be erratic. But then as we start going into the dry season and the bush starts to dry out, first of all, the trees start to die back so that you can see deeper into the bush and you can see what's moving around, which helps with obviously leopard sightings, and then your smaller antelope like grey duiker and steenbok and all of those cute little antelope. But what it does is it starts forcing the animals to congregate around the major water sources, and that's when it becomes interesting, because that's when the predators lock on to the prey, and you get a lot of kills around water, like hopefully we're seeing here. And that's why it's the best time of year to go, because it's more visible and there's more animals around the water. So May to September, guys, is the boss. So guys, we're going to leave these. We'll obviously be watching and checking whether we might get lucky with something happening at the waterhole. Maybe we get a lion or something to drink, but we're going to shoot over to Botswana. We're going to head north into Botswana and see what's going on. That wasn't me. I don't have bronchitis. That was the zebra on your screen that made that noise, just so you know. I'm not going to claim that. Look at this. We were just talking about this. So look, Botswana is a little bit of an anomaly when it comes to the zebra. The zebra, it's the second biggest migration in Africa. It peaks in the summertime, where these animals will move from the dry areas and kind of move up north towards the Delta, Moremi, Linyanti, Chobe, that kind of area there towards the Zimbabwe-Namibian border. But, I mean, look how many zebra there are. They're everywhere. They're like ants. Looks like someone broke open a zebra termite mound and there's just zebra termites everywhere. Look at that. Isn't it amazing? See that dust blowing in the background there. It's so typical of this time of year. Everything's just so dry. At this time of year when I'm guiding in Botswana, I feel like I'm putting lip ice on my lips literally like every half an hour. We've got some zebra in the mix. Some wildebeest, my apologies, in the mix on your screen, just off center to the right, moving into center now. There's a few of them there.
Let's go and take a look. See you out there.
I get to wake up every morning and go out there and look for cats. I get to create my everyday safari for myself. Myself, I grew up in the sort of central eastern suburbs of Johannesburg, fully qualified trails guide and a fully qualified nature conservationist. I love the wild places. I love being in the wilderness. It's probably one of the best jobs I've ever had and probably ever could have.
It didn't work out for him, or for, at least for the female lion. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy to raise them, and it's not easy to release them back in the wild once you've got them to a certain age as well. So yeah, I can just imagine being at that sanctuary. But yeah, thanks for your comment, and yeah, thanks for joining us. Jive Bunny, you're saying you love the elephant behavior when they're a bit annoyed. Jive Bunny, when you're watching it on TV, yes, it is quite funny. When you're there in the game drive vehicle or you're on foot, sometimes it's not really something to love. It can be rather scary, especially female elephants. When a female elephant gets upset with you, you need to be wide awake. Wide awake. Don't you just love that braying from the zebra? There's so many zebra here and so few wildebeest. I wonder whether the wildebeest have just not convinced themselves that they are zebra, because I mean, you're not dealing with upper management when it comes to wildebeest, I've got to say. And I don't mean to sound nasty, but really I've seen wildebeest do things before where I've been I don't know whether all the sandwiches are in the picnic basket, if you know what I'm saying, when I mention that. So I'm wondering whether those wildebeest are just not like, yeah, I'm a zebra, I can live with that. Sorry guys, I'm just entranced here with the sounds of the zebra, and it's so quiet as well. You know what I mean? Like, I don't hear many birds. It must be a really hot day there. So Ivan, thank you for your question. Ivan, you're asking, do butterflies make any sounds? So Ivan, not in the way that, say, like crickets or birds or something would make sounds. Most of the butterflies that you get are silent. They don't have vocal cords at all. and so they don't make any sounds. They don't fly past each other and make any sounds for communication. They do make some butterflies make like clicking noises, and make like popping sounds. I don't know if I'm explaining it the best, but yeah, like a popping, almost like a pop sound that they make. And some even make like little squeaking sounds, but generally speaking, most of them are completely silent, and you don't get any calls or anything like that, because obviously of the lack of vocal cords. Kamana, you're asking, what do the zebras in Botswana eat? Because it's so dry. We got some ellies there up on the screen. So Kamana, so you'd be surprised how industrious these animals can be. I remember the drought that I spoke about earlier, just wondering how these animals are coping. In particular, the impala, which just didn't seem to lose any conditioning. So these zebra are very fortunate in this area of Botswana to be able to move around quite a lot, Kamana. So they will feed on new shoots of grass. They will feed on leaves that have dropped off the trees. They will feed on flowers that will pop up. But they have the ability to be able to move around, and they're not stuck in one area. So surprisingly, they'll have a fairly varied diet. And then when the rains start, obviously, then it just explodes with food. Now, I don't know if you guys can see. I'm going to try to point it out. So we got the two zebra in the middle of the screen who are showing us their butts. The most photographed thing in the African bush is a zebra's butt, okay? But that's not what we're looking at. We're going to go up from the zebra's butts to the zebras just up from them. And then we're going to go up to the left where there's a group of zebra kind of split in two. And you'll see an ostrich that is walking to the left of the screen with its head down at the moment. There's another one that's kind of in line with it now, and there's another one right at the back. But if you look carefully, you'll see anyone that's on a big screen TV will be able to see a lot better. But yeah, we've got some ostriches, our largest flightless bird. They are not able to fly, but they are very quick. Let me tell you, very, very quick. I see that elephant on screen. It looked like he was digging for something. I don't know whether he's found a shallow bit of water. Water table's come up a little bit, and he's found like a little vein there that he's drinking from. Yeah, I saw a bit of a splash. He's found some water there. There we go. We're going to zoom in, at least try and zoom in on our ostrich friends. So something very interesting about ostriches, guys, is you'll see that they are two different colors. Well, at least their plumage is different. The males have got a black or dark plumage, and then the females have got like a drabby grey plumage. And this is quite important, because when they have a clutch of eggs, the females will look after them during the day. Because they are lighter in color, they generally don't overheat. Whereas the males during the day, obviously being much darker, they absorb quite a lot of heat, obviously. So they've got to kind of move around. But when it gets dark, the females will get off the eggs and will go and feed, and the males will come back and actually sit on the eggs. And because they've been absorbing the heat all day in their plumage, they actually incubate the eggs in the evening. So a lot of the times when you're on game drives or driving around the park, you'll often see the females during the day sitting on the eggs and the males doing this. But in the nighttime, it's the complete opposite, and that's the reason. Isn't nature ridiculous? Just everything has its place. I love it. I'm going to head back to Aldonio quickly, but what I just want to tell you guys is another interesting fact with ostrich as well, is that one ostrich egg is basically the equivalent to 20 chicken eggs. I have been asked this before in a game drive, so I'm just putting it out there while they're on screen in case they move off. 20 chicken eggs, 20. How ridiculous is that? That's a proper omelette. That's like a breakfast and lunch omelette. That's crazy. We're going to head back to Aldonio. Let's go have a look and see what's going on. Ooh, we got our zebra friends and we got some eland. Our largest of the antelope species is the eland. Oh, we got a little bit of this is quite an active situation going on here. It looks like an AI generated picture. You know what I mean? Like one of those things you see on Facebook and you're like, that's not real. Come on. Well, it's happening right in front of us right now, guys. Check this out. Giraffe, oryx, eland, elephant, and zebra all at the same waterhole. This is the most, like, quite often in the areas that I garden, you know, you'll get the animals that they kind of come down one species at a time and drink. It's so rare to see so many different species that are sharing the waterhole like this. It's so nice to see. See how that giraffe has to really get down to get a drink. Got some oxpeckers that have flown onto the back of that giraffe. What a beautiful, beautiful scene. Such a Sunday spoil, this. I'm going to get some comments because you guys are just on it today. I love it. Is it Ari? I'm guessing it's Ari or Ari. I hope I get it right, but I think it's Ari. Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Ari. Greetings from the Netherlands. Very nice. You're saying you watch Wild Earth because you cannot get to South Africa, but you can see the animals in their own habitats. It's a spoil, isn't it? And it's so nice. And it's you know, for us involved in conservation, this side, it's so important to share this with you guys. And it's one of the things that Wild Earth is just so amazing with, is being able to bring this into your home or into your office, and to show you how beautiful it is, and to raise awareness as well of how important it is to keep these areas like this, keep them protected. It's a constant struggle. Conservation is, my job is easy compared. I get to jump in a game vehicle, I get to drive around and talk to my guests and show them all these wonderful sightings like we've got on TV. I get to pick up my rifle and go for a walk and point out tracks and dung beetles and all of that. But we have guys that are walking around the bush every day, putting their lives on the line to protect these wild spaces. And it's programs like this that really make a difference, so that you can see exactly what we are trying to conserve and what we're trying to protect. And Sarah, you're from Cornwall. Very nice. Two now from Cornwall. How cool. Thanks so much for your comment. Sarah, you were saying that you're addicted to the channel, as am I. And you've just returned from a horseback safari in the Delta. Very nice. Listen, that's a proper experience, eh? And you say it's the best thing you've ever done in your life, and you can't wait to return. Well, we can't wait to get you back, Sarah. Come back soon. So happy that you had such a great experience. The Delta is very special, isn't it? It's like living in a postcard. It's so cool, man. See that elephant? What he just did now is he lifted his right arm up and he waved it. So that kind of behavior is mild irritation in elephant language, and he's basically trying to make sure that the other animals know that there's a distinct line that he does not want them to cross. And you'll see the animals back off, and then they come back, and regular viewing is returned. But that's just his way of communicating to them. I've said before that the majority of the communication that happens with these animals is mostly body language. And so that elephant just behaving like that just makes everyone understand the rules of the waterhole, and that everyone must just behave themselves. I can hear the oxpeckers calling. That shrill is the oxpeckers that are flying around the animals.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh! This is action-packed.
hyenas love bathing.
Every month, something wild lands in your inbox. From rare sightings and behind-the-scenes secrets to expert stories, seasonal changes, and exclusive travel opportunities, the Wild Earth Journal is your free monthly mailer, packed with the magic of the wild straight from the field. It's fun, it's free, it's full of surprises. Sign up now on the Wild Earth website.
And they tend to run even when you are in the game vehicle and you parked quite far away from them. They're not shy to just kind of run off into the bush. So to get to see them like this is we're very privileged, guys, and to have them hang around enough for you guys to ask questions and get some information on them, the difference between the males and females and their different way that they feed. We're very, very fortunate. Dark Main Lover, you're also asking me, do I have any pet snakes? So if my mom is watching, and she probably is, I think that question has just sent a shiver down her spine. Because when I was a kid, I used to collect a lot of snakes. A few of them got out. Wasn't my fault, okay? We had a ghost in the house that kept opening up the tank. I had nothing to do with it. I definitely did not forget to close the tank sometimes. But I used to collect snakes when I was younger. There are rules and regulations in South Africa which state which snakes you're allowed to keep and which snakes you're not allowed to keep. So most of us snake collectors generally will keep kind of exotic snakes, so your boas and your corn snakes, rat snakes, stuff like that. But I was fortunate enough to be able to keep a few egg eaters, which were my favorites, a couple of scarp stalkers. I never had any of the venomous snakes. I think my mom would have left the house, but yeah, I loved collecting snakes. Unfortunately, now I have mentioned it once or twice. Funnily enough, you mentioned it about a month or two ago. Where I live, we have a WhatsApp group that kind of buys and sells stuff, and someone mentioned that they had a snake tank that they were selling, and of course this excited me to no end. And I excitedly ran to my wife and said, hey, listen, why don't we get the kids a red-tailed boa? They'll love it. It's the best thing ever. She didn't answer me verbally. Let's just put it that way. It was more an eyebrow raise, an extremely dirty look. And I realized immediately that this was a no. And because I travel quite a lot, I know I can't sneak it in, because who's going to feed the snake? Who's going to clean the tank out? So, yeah. Sadly, I had to not do it. That zebra giving a big head shake there to the giraffe. He's off now. And that head shake really is just to clear the road. It wasn't a sign of aggression or anything like that. It's just I'm making my way out of here. Get out of my way, clear my way so that I can go to my friend underneath the tree there and have a little bit of a chat. I think because the elephants left, just judging by the way that these animals are behaving now, there's either another elephant that's coming in, or there's other animals that are coming in from the left screen. Let's see who be there. You can see that giraffe is actively looking. I wonder what it is. Oh, very, very interesting. So, I don't know if you guys saw, look at the giraffe on the right side of your screen. There's a female that's urinating. She's just finished now. Yeah, something's definitely coming in from the left. And that male, while she was urinating, was sniffing her urine. And then he pulled this weird like lip, this weird look on his face. And what he's actually doing is he's testing to see whether the female is an estrus. He's accessing a gland called a Jacobson's organ, which will tell him whether the female is receptive or not, basically. But he doesn't look too worried. Michelle M, thank you so much for your question. You're asking me, what is it like encountering wild dog and hyena on foot? So it's a completely different experience for both of them, actually. Their behavior is just so different on foot. Wild dog are generally they're very watchful and quite skittish, especially if they are resting, Michelle. So if you find them kind of after a hunt and they're chilling and they see you kind of walking up, they will get up and kind of move off a little bit and be quite watchful of you. However, if you do a late afternoon walk and you find them hunting, they generally will ignore you. Look, you can't keep up with them. It's almost impossible because of how quickly they move. But yeah, they kind of. I've had it before on a walk where we've been following lion tracks, and we had a pack of wild dog run right past us and just ignored us flat. It was quite a surreal experience, actually. Hyena are. You've got to be very wary of hyena. Hyena are the ultimate, what's the word I'm looking for? They're very watchful. They're always looking to see whether they can get a free meal. They're always checking to see how they can manipulate the situation in their favor. And so often when you have wild dog on foot, and not generally when you're on a walk, they don't generally tolerate you when you're moving. But I've had it quite a few times where we've stopped for sundowners, and we've got some snacks out and a gin and tonic, some beers. We're going to get such a beautiful view of this giraffe drinking now. And they come up and you've got to be, Michelle, you've got to watch them. If you drop your guard with them, they can get quite aggressive. So one is to kind of just watch them, but also sometimes you've got to be fairly aggressive with them and just let them know, like they would with us, just let them know that you're not going to tolerate any nonsense, and then they generally kind of back off and leave you alone. But yeah, the wild dog will just leave you, whereas with a hyena, they won't. If there's biltong or Doritos or something on the table that the guests are feeding on, they want to know what it is. They want to check it out. I like Doritos. I like the nacho cheese flavor. I want to try it out. Don't be jealous. Don't pass it along. Give me some Doritos. Don't be like that. That's kind of the attitude. See, now that the elephant's gone, the starlings are coming to the waterhole. Everyone's having a bit of a drink. So quiet. Everyone's having such a nice Sunday. So Ellie Leopard Friend, thanks again for your comment. You're asking, what is the purpose of large dewlap? So the dewlap is, if you look at in particular the male eland, they have a dewlap, which is a fold of skin that sits kind of at the bottom of their neck or on their throat area. So basically, there's pretty much three reasons for that dewlap. The first would be kind of sexual selection or display. So the dewlap makes the males just look a lot bigger than the females. And if there are females that are on heat, and there's a few males that are vying for position, that a dewlap with a male with a larger dewlap obviously looks a lot bigger and a lot more intimidating, and a lot more imposing. So it helps with that and display. But also that dewlap, that it basically, if you can imagine, because it's loose skin and it's kind of just hanging there, it increases the surface area of the animal itself, right? And there's actually blood vessels in that dewlap that help to kind of release excess heat. So while the animal, because they're a lot bigger than the females while they're moving around, so a fully grown eland weighs about the same as a buffalo. They're huge. They're absolutely massive. So they obviously give off quite a lot of heat. So the dewlap helps with that. And then one thing as well is basically an indicator of how old they are as well. So the older bulls will generally develop much larger dewlaps. And they even get like a blue color to them as well. They get like a blue hue. So it's also an indicator of age. So there's a few different reasons, Ellie leopard friend, why they have that dewlap.
For years, we've shared virtual wildlife. Now let's experience it for real. I'm Lauren Arthur, and I'd love to show you my amazing home here in the Greater Kruger of South Africa. This 5-night journey is an exclusive connection to my piece of untamed Africa. I live here in these gorgeous landscapes surrounded by epic wildlife. The wild is calling, so come and join me.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
It's like a takeover. So you see, as that giraffe kind of ran off, you saw all the there's a beaut. So guys, there's an absolute beaut of an eland just behind the zebra on the right hand side. Beautiful male eland. We were just talking about the dewlap. When he comes down to the waterhole, just have a look. Ellie leopard friend, you're going to get your wish to check that dewlap out. He's a beautiful boy. Look at him. Stunning guy. Deb, you're saying it's unusual not to have Ellies at this cam. I'll be honest, it's quite nice. gives me different things to talk about rather than just watching that elephant just basically suck water through that little hole for 2 hours. I'm glad he's moved off to the tree to go talk to his friend. He's also given the chance to the zebra families to come down and have a little bit of a drink. So Jive Bunny, you were saying that, you've only really ever considered how hyenas and honey badgers behave around the lodges, obviously when there's food. So yeah, look, hyenas and honey badgers are the culprits, really, the ones that come in. And let me tell you, the genets. So for those of you who've never seen a genet is a type of mongoose. And it looks like a cat, but mongoose are very closely related to cats. And they come into the camps as well a lot of the time to get food as well. But the hyenas and honey badgers are the culprits. Hyenas you can shoo off. You cannot shoo a honey badger off. The honey badger is... the honey badgers are next level. I would much rather walk away from my All Brand flakes than shoo the honey badger away. They take no prisoners. If they were the size of lions, I don't think we could ever go on safari. I think they would just dominate. But yeah, so Jive Bunny, the wild dogs, no, I've had a few instances where the dogs have chased antelope in the camp and killed an antelope in the camp itself, so on the lawn, in front of the chalets or the accommodation. I've had that a few times. In fact, I actually had that in April, funnily enough. But they don't generally come in sniffing around for food. They're all skittish, whereas the hyenas and honey badgers can be quite, they just don't care, especially the honey badger. Honey badger walks in and basically his attitude is, guys, I'm here, give me food. I don't want to have to walk around and break stuff to find it, just give it to me. That's kind of their attitude. Carter, you're saying what a massive bull eland. He's massive, I know, and I wish we could get a better view of him. The zebra are photobombing us so badly here. We actually need one of our elephants to come and shoo them. But yeah, he is a huge eland. He's a beautiful guy. So Mahesh, you're saying to me that the zebras are all pushing each other around at the waterhole, as we can see, and they don't seem to be getting a turn to drink water. So you're right, Mahesh. So you'll find, this is not one herd of zebra. This will probably be 3, maybe even 4 herds of zebra that are coming to one water source to drink. And so the competition is within the different herds. The stallions, for the most part, they don't tolerate other males around, but they're just jousting pretty much for position. So you'll find some zebra, like you'll see on the right hand side, they'll move off and wait their turn. The more dominant ones, which will mostly be the males, will drink, and then you'll find as they start to move off, the other zebra will come in and get their fill. So they will drink. It's just a highly competitive situation at the moment. There's a better view of that eland. Look how much taller, how much bigger he is than those zebra. He's just magnificent. So Jive Bunny, you were commenting on my chat about the honey badgers. You were saying you saw a video of guides rescuing a honey badger and the honey badger was not grateful. No. As I say, the honey badgers are Yeah, they're they're a law unto themselves, actually. I think if I was gonna put together an animal documentary now, I think the name would be El Daño Waterhole, a small puddle with a zebra problem, because that's exactly what is happening right now. You see the zebra closest to us on the right's got an oxpecker on his back. So guys, those oxpeckers are very, very important. They basically clean the animals and get rid of all their external parasites or ectoparasites, like ticks and the different larvae of the insects that lay it in the skin. And worms as well. So they are. It's a relationship type that we call it symbiosis. And essentially, what that is an action where both species benefit. So the oxpecker would be getting food, and the zebra would be getting a clean, essentially. The only time it becomes a problem is it's not uncommon to see zebra who have been chased by lion, and the lion have managed to get their claws onto the rump of the zebra, especially that very sharp dew claw of theirs, and they rip the hind leg open of the zebra. I've seen zebra with some horrible wounds. Now in the wild, fly larvae or maggots serve a very, very, very important role. Because what they do is they hatch in the wound, and maggots feed on dead tissue. They don't feed on oxygenated fresh tissue. So essentially what that larvae is doing here, so watch this guys, just watch this elephant, ears open, head up, watch how he's going to dominate this water hole now, watch. Oh, they are funny. They are such funny creatures. But yeah, so back to our larvae story. Delicious story, this. And so basically they stop the wound from going septic. And that fresh oxygenated tissue is allowed to kind of prosper, and it knits, essentially, and the animal heals. But those oxpeckers, they often will eat that fly larvae or maggots, and it actually stops that wound from actually closing up. So it can be a big problem, actually, those oxpeckers. So they serve a purpose, but sometimes it can actually be kind of detrimental to the animal, especially the older animals that, their immune system's not that great. And they're not healing as well as they used to. They need those maggots more than when they were younger. So Hoodsprayed Hank, I listen, you must live in Hoodsprayed, surely. Unless it's just a nickname you got when you were a kid and it stuck. But thanks so much for your question. You're asking, are there animals that are more prone to getting worms? Oh, here we go. Now we've got problems. The chaser became the chasee. Check his trunk coming up on the side of the what's name, like, just calm down, just relax, man, we're friends. So notice the behavior of that elephant, guys, on the right-hand side, okay? Now remember when he came to the waterhole earlier, his head was up. He was a lot more confident, right? Now if you look at him, his ears are still out because he's still trying to make himself look bigger. However, his head's lowered and he's got that trunk up. So that's a sign of submission. So it's interesting to see the two different types of behavior from them. So essentially what he's doing to that bull elephant there is just to essentially just relaxing and just trying to get him to just chill a little bit so that they don't end up fighting. So interesting, the body language on the animals, hey? Oh, so anyway, Hoodspray Hank, sorry, I've got waterhole ADD. You asking, are the animals more prone to getting worms? So Hank, yes, absolutely, especially in the summertime. One of the bird species that just get peppered with worms are guinea fowl. So much so that if you are living out in the bush and guinea fowl forms part of your diet, you actually can't eat them in the summertime, especially if there's been a lot of rain. You kind of have to wait until the winter to be eating the guinea fowl again. So from the bird point of view, they are quite prone to it. And zebra and wildebeest tend to get botfly larvae, which is like worms. The botflies lay their larvae in the nostrils and the nasal cavities of the zebra and the wildebeest, and so quite often, again in the summertime, you'll often see zebra and wildebeest walking, and they almost look like they're nodding, and they like flicking their heads up and down. The zebra are being surrounded. And that's not because they're listening to a classic hit from Dr. Dre. It's because they are trying to loosen those larvae, because the larvae tries to go up to the warmer mucus in the nostrils, and they kind of flick their noses down to try and get the larvae to drop. So they do suffer from that botfly larvae quite a lot. But most of the animals out in the bush do get gut worms. But over many years, they've learned to actually deal with these worms that they get in their gut, and they just live in harmony with them.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
Wildlife spectacle on planet Earth. We'll see you there.
Some of you out there are brilliant at identifying hyenas.
Now, why do you think people have got this huge misunderstanding about reptiles?
Right in front of me there was the face of an astounded buffalo bull.
This is live and interactive, so everybody, if you have any questions and comments, please do send them through and let us know what you would like.
Check out how big this herd is. It's huge. My goodness. This is one of these massive 200, 300, 400 strong herds. Absolutely incredible. Buffalo herds, very interesting. So it's a matriarchal society, which means that they are led by the females. So the older females, both the older females and their daughters will be the ones that will lead the herd around. Sexual dimorphism with them is difficult in terms of sizing, although the males are bigger. But you just got to look at the horns. The female horns are slightly smaller. They don't have that big wraparound that the males have got. And on the head itself, where the horn almost like comes out, if you want to call it that, we call it a boss. And the females don't have a very big boss. It's almost like bald, and then the horns come out. But the males have got a very large boss, and then the horns kind of wrap around and almost turn. And that's the best way to be able to see whether it's male or female, is just by looking at the horns. There's a stunning male kind of just to the right of the screen that's kind of walking up towards the bank now. You can see what I'm talking about with that boss, with those horns wrapping around. He's in very good condition. Beautiful guy. So the females will lead the herd around, and the males are there pretty much to defend them and to mate with. But other than that, they don't really have much say about where they go, what they do, how long they stay. It's all governed by the females. So it's girl power all the way with these guys. It's a big herd, but it's not uncommon to have a herd this large. And unlike the zebra that I was talking about earlier, where I said it'll be quite a few different herds that come together, this will be a herd of buffalo. So you will get little like groups that will form within the herd. As with all species, in crowds you get kind of groups, I'm guessing of that just have something in common, whatever it may be, just like human beings do. So you do get, in a big herd like this, you'll see once they've drunk, they'll split into different little pockets and hang around. But the moment there's danger, the females with their youngsters will move into the center of the herd. The older females will then surround them, and then the big males will, I can't believe how many buffalo there are, and then the big males will form a ring around the herd and will protect them. So often with a herd this large, if there are lions that are looking at attacking them, they will sit and watch these buffalo for hours, and they will look for one that's injured. They will look for older males that are straggling and kind of hanging behind the rest of the herd. So essentially, if you happen to come back as a buffalo, if you pass away, look at how big that male is, guys. Just off center, he's just turned now and he's moved off, but that was a big guy. So if you come back as a buffalo in your next life, please do me a favor and just don't hang around the back. Rather be in the middle. Middle's safe, okay? Don't hang around the back because you're going to be watched. by some pretty hungry cats. Okay, that's the tip of the day. Don't be a straggler. Stragglers don't do too well out here in Africa. This is so cool, man. So Riley, you're asking, will all the buffalo coming through, will they get their turn at the water? So they will. We're now midday. And so generally speaking, what's going to happen with these buffalo is it's almost like a truce time of day, where the predators will not be actively hunting. Obviously, predators are opportunistic, so any opportunity they get, they will go. But generally speaking, they're not up and looking for food right now. So these guys can take their time. They can come in, have a drink, feed around the waterhole. And then what these guys will do is they will hang around this area for a while. And then and they ruminate. So as with most bovines, they have a 4-chambered stomach. And so they've been feeding for most of the day. They'll come in here, they'll drink some water. Shame that one just got head-butted. And what they'll do is they'll drink, and then they'll move off and they'll go lie down, they'll go off in the bush, and then they'll chew the cud. And essentially what that means is they will just, with their teeth, they'll just break down what they've eaten. They'll swallow it. It'll go into the first compartment in the stomach. And if it's not broken up enough, the food will come back up into their mouth. That ball of food is called a bolus. And then they will chew, swallow again until the food is chewed enough to get into the second chamber in the stomach. And that's when the digestion will happen. But that takes a period of time, and they need water to help them with that digestion. So they'll be here for a while. You know, if any of you guys have access to the cam when we go off in 10 minutes or so, these guys will hang around for a long time. You'll see them for a while. Mkwananzi, hello and thank you. You're asking how many buffalo do you think there are? Sure, Mkwananzi, I reckon this herd, I reckon this is about 400, about 450 buffalo, I reckon, because there's still buffalo coming. We can't see it on camera, but there are still buffalo coming up from the left-hand side. And they've all kind of surrounded the other side of the waterhole. So I reckon this is a 400-strong buffalo herd.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Wildlife Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Best sighting I've presented, I found myself with wild dogs. We chased the dogs around, chased them around. They ate an impala, we got the end of that. Then another impala went into Gowrie Dam down the road there, and the wild dogs went around. Eventually the impala came close to the bank. One wild dog went and grabbed it and then just pulled it out and just did what wild dogs do. It was an emotional experience, but it was very, very special.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Can you hear that? The wild is calling.
Wants to wallow in that little section of mud there, and he keeps having to chase everyone off. And then we've got a female that was looking directly at us. You can see the difference with the horns there now. There was a nice, but of course she walks off because that's just what the animals are like. You'll have the most beautiful sighting, and the photographers out there, you'll understand exactly what I'm about to say. It'll be the most majestic sighting. The sun is rising, the birds are flying around, the wind is perfect, the temperature's amazing. Life couldn't be better. You're sitting at a beautiful sighting, whether it be a cat or buffalo or whatever the case is. The moment you lift your camera up, the entire scene changes, everybody leaves, and you end up taking pictures of dung. Am I right, photographers? It's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. These guys just know whenever you have a camera and whenever you have photographers with you as well. So Jive Bunny, thanks so much. I appreciate your comment. And you said you've been chatting to my mom and sister in the chat. I do apologize for that, and I hope they have. I hope they haven't been telling you guys any. So let me put it this way: any stories that are not complimentary are just lies. You don't listen to a word they say. It's just a big lie. And any complimentary stories are 100% true. I agree, Mr. Elemental. You're saying, geez, time is up already. Yeah, we got like 6 minutes to go, and then we're at the end of the show. I'm sad, man. But we've had such great sightings. And check out all those wildebeest. Like they're surrounding that buffalo. They're surrounding that game vehicle. Oh, backing up. This is so cool. You check just on the bank on the opposite side there. There's a young one, a few young ones there. You see the different color variation of those youngsters. They're more like almost like a light brown or fawn color, and the reason for that is camouflage, because they will be targeted by predators. So, often what will happen is if there is a predator, they will just lie down and they'll go flat. They'll flatten their ears and they basically blend in with the dirt or the grass. And that's why they're that color. And their darker coloration comes in once they get to around about 2.5, somewhere there. And we've got a cattle egret, which is very common around I keep calling them wildebeest. Around the buffalo, and the reason for that is because the buffalo, especially a herd this size, because they move through the bush in these massive swathes like this, they kick up a lot of dirt and a lot of twigs and leaves and all of that, and thus they disturb quite a lot of insects, so they get to feed on the insects. Well, listen, guys, we've got 3 minutes left. You were awesome today, guys. The animals were awesome. You guys were awesome. I really appreciate you guys with all the comments and getting involved. It really, myself and the Wild Earth team, we just love it when you guys get involved like this. This has probably been the most amount of comments I've ever had on the show. So hey, it's your show, guys. You're the guys that make it, and I'm really appreciative that you got involved with us today. And I had a lot of fun with you guys. And what a perfect way to end off. Normally we end off at El Doño with 2 elephants basically scaring everyone off. This is a nice way to end, and a perfect way to end a week and start a week. And hopefully that means that next week is going to be brilliant. See how they're all kind of going up there. Like I said to you, they'll all go and ruminate now. There's a few of them having a bit of a swim there. Nothing wrong with that. That's one thing I'm looking forward to doing now, coming into summertime, is going for swims. It's going to be fun, man. There's a few of them that are like, oh, come on, I want to stay here. Don't go. But they have to, unfortunately. As soon as the lead females start to move off, it's just herd instinct. They got to go. Except for the older bulls. They can be quite obstinate. So guys, again, thank you so much for, you guys made my day today. Thank you so much. It's been so great spending time with you. Thank you to the Wild Earth team for bringing us these most magnificent pictures. Guys, I wish all of you the most phenomenal week next week. I hope you get a lot done and it's productive, and I hope you are well. And until the next time, when we meet again, much love to all of you, and have the most amazing evening wherever you are in the world. Much love to all of you.